All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of our listeners, followers, subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click that red button. It will definitely help us. So, we're going international now. Um, we have our friends here from California. We'll be discussing about their business, what they actually do, and their challenges, and some tips and advice. This is another international episode of Doc and Squats Vetlogs, short for
Betlog.
veteran logs. If you have
Yeah,
some
Betlog.
playful mind, yeah.
Yeah,
You
So,
you
said
don't.
we're gonna give tips, so we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
just the tip. You know that game?
yeah.
yeah.
You guys.
That's the
All
tip.
right,
So if you guys haven't known by now, his name is Doc,
and he is Squat, the
and
bearded guy.
and the beer guy. And welcome to another episode. So, we decided to step up our game. So here we are, live from California. Please give a round of applause to Chef Stephen and his wife Iel.
Yay!
Yay.
Hola. All right. So,
Yeah.
um, all right. So, Chef and Niall, why don't we start by you guys giving us an overview what your business is all about, when did it start, yeah, those kind of stuff.
I'll let you pick that one. She has a
Uh,
better head for the dates.
No
Okay.
problem.
so my husband is a professional chef. So he's been in the industry, food industry, for
10
I would say
years.
10 years.
Mm.
Um, 12 if you include your internship and your school. Um, and he's been working in fine dining restaurants, in luxury schools for teenagers. So he has gotten like a good culinary experience through all these years. Unfortunately, though, because of the pandemic, the restaurants are closed, and he lost his job.
Mm.
So it's been a crazy ride since then, but we have always wanted a restaurant. And so what better time to do it than now, you know? So the idea of food service, meal service, catering, just, click one day and we're like, okay, what can you do? People are
Mm.
tired of eating at home or cooking for themselves. So I just basically put it in his head that I have friends and families who need
Yeah.
food. So I'm like, one day I was like, can you make this for so and so? They want this and that, and it's that started it.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then we went from like I was under the impression I was gonna do food for like maybe 4 or 5 people, and then she gave me like this giant list of like 20 delivery for, and I'm like, what? And but it worked out, it's we're out of our home kitchen. We're doing small orders and doing things that are manageable. Uh, for example, chicken adobo.
Mm.
I have a recipe that her father showed me how to make. He was a chef too, and now he works for a medical company out of California, but he still cooks, a lot of the old original recipes, sinigang, adobo,
Mm.
sinigang and adobo.
um, so I do that. I do the adobo. We've done that a few times for corporate parties or corporate lunches. I do a couple different shrimp dishes. We do a salted egg flavored shrimp, which is really
Mm-hmm.
good. Very things that are very quick and easy to make, but that can have a high quality to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's definitely something that I like to focus on is making sure that whoever's enjoying the food, they have that understanding that this is quality. There's care that's been taken in this, and it's not just thrown together or not well thought up. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, really well thought and put together. So it's been a good experience, and I've been having to be a dishwasher, the cook, and
Yeah.
uh,
all around guy.
She's
Yeah.
my boss
No.
when it's the dishwashing.
I'm the dishwasher, not you.
She's the executive dishwasher.
Yeah.
It's like
Executive chef.
in the Philippines we call that the plate attendant.
That's
Yeah, the plate attendant.
that's
So
good.
there's a plate attendant. So
I'll call myself the plate attendant.
the plate attendant.
she tries to give herself as many titles as she can.
Oh yeah. So I'm thinking that so that's how this all started. So it's like one day, um, Iel walks up to you, say, "Hey, can you uh, prepare food for an X amount of people?" And you had this idea that it was like 5 people, and
A
then
one-time thing.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, surprise, mother effer, 20 people, boom, just
Yeah,
like
baby.
that, right?
And then and they all and the first couple weekends, I mean, it was good. We sold a lot. You know, it was small orders and you know it was a good turnout. Um, and then just little by little from there. I mean, it didn't like all the growth didn't all happen at once. It was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like fits and spurts. You know, it took a while. I mean, we're still on the growth phase. We're still
Mhm.
trying
Yeah.
to figure out what exactly our specialty is going to be, how we're going to accomplish that, what our demographics going to be. Are we going to be doing, private homes, or is it going to
Mhm.
be
Mm-hmm.
corporate office lunches? You know, what exactly we're targeting.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big demographic out there of people,
Right.
businesses that need that food, that food,
Prepared for them, yeah.
they need their meals prepared because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
well, the corporate setting doesn't have anywhere to turn to for food, for parties, for
Correct.
lunches. Most people can't go out and eat. I mean, right now they're opening up in California a little bit more now, but still, it's kind of a hassle to go out, and you know,
Mhm.
most people don't want to have to put on and take off their face mask at a table
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
full time during their meal. And that's to the ones that are open. You know, a lot of small businesses and restaurants have closed because
Mm-hmm.
of COVID completely. The restaurant that I was a part of completely shut down, and
Mhm.
you know, that's something like 4,000 employees across the country.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that was that's just one company, and that's not even
Mm-hmm.
a big a giant company.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if somebody like Applebee's or Fridays goes out, I mean, I can't imagine how many employees that is. But you know, hopefully, knock on wood,
Mm-hmm.
things will ease up pretty soon.
And
Yeah.
I'm just saying this for what it is. It has something to do with the culture because in the Philippines, if a family wants to eat, obviously everybody has to eat. The first thing that comes to their mind is I'll cook something or somebody has to cook. But in the American culture, when you're hungry, the very first thing that comes into the mind is go out and eat somewhere. So this actually this pandemic unfortunately provided incomes for those people who hey maybe we can sell this. So this is where you guys come in for the people who could not actually cook for themselves.
Mm.
So you just ring up, tell us what you need, we'll cook it for you, then we'll deliver it. So how do you know what to cook for a certain day? How does that work?
Well, I mean, we have a set menu, so
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty simple. It's right now. I don't have a full range in a kitchen like I would. I don't have like a deep fryer. I don't have these
Mm-hmm.
standalone ovens and convection ovens and
Mm-hmm.
like all the pieces of equipment that I would normally have and all the people to operate them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
as a chef, I don't necessarily operate all of those pieces of equipment. I
Mm-hmm.
manage the cooks that operate those pieces of equipment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I set the standard, the quality, and whatever the meal is going to be. But here, I mean, we've had to go through a list, and I know that Iel's been pretty frustrated because she'll be like, "Well, can't we do this or can't we?" And I'm like, "You got to understand. Like, I have like two burners. You know, our stove isn't one that has all the same size burners. It's one
Mm-hmm.
that has like a long one in the middle, two big ones in the front, and two small ones in the back.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So not all stoves are created equal. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
ovens are created equal. I can't do like roasted. Like one of the things on our menu is ribs, and
Hmm.
I can't do 30 pounds of ribs in my oven. Like there's just no way I can do that in a week. Like even in a week, I couldn't do that because it would just take.
Exactly.
My ribs take like about
Overnight.
overnight to marinate, and then
Yeah.
probably about 4 to 5 hours to cook in the oven. So like it just, and I only have two racks in that oven.
Hmm.
So we had to go by category and say, okay, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Should we buy a fryer? And then also thinking about our refrigeration space.
Hmm.
Can we fit this? We have another refrigerator outside, but like space is limited, and we also don't want our house to be this like
A
thunderstorm.
walk-in freezer.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
supplies and all
So
that. We have
so
to make
yeah,
sure.
we have. It's funny because we have sometimes when we have our orders, we'll have all of the equipment inside and all of the styros
The
and
packaging.
hot
The
boxes.
bag, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have all those pieces of to go
Yeah.
boxes sitting inside, and then we have to rearrange back in the garage. But you know, part of quality means we're being safe. We're not, like abusing these pieces of equipment. We're cleaning it
Exactly.
properly. We're cooking properly. There's a lot that goes into that to make sure that people don't get sick. We keep
Right.
things
Exactly.
to temperature, and in order to do that, we have to make sure that the foods that we cook are going to be appropriate. And so right now, that's why we've stuck to seafood. A lot of people,
Mm.
I think, typically don't uh, know how to cook fish, shrimp,
Mm.
crab, lobster. Those are
Properly.
just things that
Hmm.
people don't tend to cook at their own home very often. Right?
Mm. Okay.
Exactly.
If you're going to go
Exactly.
out, you're probably going to buy either a piece of chicken, maybe a steak to grill.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people know how to do ribs, or some people know how to do
Hmm.
whole chickens. But for the most part, people want seafood that's done really well because it's expensive.
Mm.
It's a high priced item. Um,
Exactly.
and I know how to do that. So we both thought, you know what, let's do this Cajun. We started with the Cajun flavor. Then we went to. I had a close friend who ordered, and she wanted to order for her children, and she was like, do you have anything that's not spicy? And I said, yeah, sure, I can make a garlic butter.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
then the garlic butter came. That's another flavor, and then we really like the salted duck egg
The
Mm.
Yeah.
Irving's.
Irving's cheap
It's a salmon skin.
salmon skin chips. We like
Hmm.
that.
Mm.
Yeah, they're really really good. So
Uh-huh.
and it's
So
not
that
something you can get here. It's like $12 a bag for like a tiny little bag.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
but we can get salted eggs. So
so now we have salted egg shrimps.
she actually watched her.
Don't say that.
She watched her favorite actor, who she thinks is
No,
the cutest, and she
my
was like
favorite chef,
her
Who?
favorite chef. What's his name?
Chef Erwin.
Chef Irwin.
Okay.
Chef Irwin is good. Because I don't know how to make salted. I didn't know how to make a salted duck recipe, but that's part of learning and part of sharing, part of
Hmm.
growing is learning from other people, and
Yeah.
then turning that recipe into your own.
Can you
How do I
tag Chef
change it?
Erwin who's up here? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Chef Irwin in the future. I don't know. Maybe we can pull maybe
hey,
we can pull some strings. Yeah.
it's great. Like if you do, we can all get on, and we have
Oh
an
yeah, yeah, sure.
international conference call.
Yeah.
I'll give
We'll
them a
make
call for you guys. I'll
yeah,
try
we'll
to.
make let's make that happen. Yeah, sure. So since we know that the chef Stephen is his realm is the kitchen, where does Iel come into this? Where do you fit in?
Where, babe? Where? Tell
I
them where.
mean, I can do costing, and I can do the numbers, but it's not something that I particularly enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And she is very, very good at just keeping us on track and saying, "Hey, this is what we need. This is what she." Although there's been a few hiccups, but on both ends, like it's a learning process. I've never worked with my wife,
It's
and
hard to work with your husband. Oh my
yeah,
God.
especially like as a chef, where I'm used to having maybe a team of 15, or a team of
Mm.
20.
That he yells at.
I don't yell at
Just
them,
kidding.
but
Just kidding.
like that worked for me, and it's hard to transition to where you're by yourself
Right.
cooking.
Mm.
And there are days where we have quite a few orders, and for somebody who's never been in the kitchen to understand like how many steps
Mm.
Mhm.
goes into this one dish,
Mhm.
and I have 20 of them at different times throughout the day, but it's not like it can get frustrating, but also she's taking off the aspect of me having to find out exactly how much this one item is going to cost and how that fits into our budget. So
Mm.
she's been really really good at doing that back end research for me so that we can maximize our profits and help and give a bigger portion of food to the people that we're serving, because it's not just about profits,
Yeah.
it's also about how much can I serve this person, stay
Exactly.
in the margin so that I'm not losing money, but
Right.
the person also isn't, whoever is ordering from us doesn't feel like,
Cheated.
oh, we
Yeah.
paid twenty
This
dollars
Yeah.
and I'm
Exactly.
not full. Like
Yeah.
I hate that
Mm.
feeling. And I work for really, really good restaurants. That one of the restaurants that I used to work for, we went in and it was, like a $400 bill. If I
Yeah.
hadn't cooked there, it'd be $400 for two people. And if you don't come away feeling like satisfied from that, it's kind of like a letdown, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, let's go to Pizza Hut now. Like, no,
Yeah. Exactly.
$400 for this. We should feel it. We should feel better. We should, food.
you should feel happy about the
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience
Exactly.
you had. Yeah.
Hey, it's like yeah, it's like I paid $15. I should be getting my $15 worth of food. So that's how it is, right? Fair is
And
fair. Yeah.
also, I mean, you think about it, food isn't just there for the experience. Food also nurtures you. It gives
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
energy. It's, like what's the saying? You are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to put in the highest quality ingredients, so that way, the person on the other end, after they eat this, they're not just feeling like, oh wow, that was a great experience. They're also feeling, oh, I feel a little bit better. I feel the love and attention that was put into that
Mm-hmm.
food, and now my day's a little bit brighter for it. Or maybe I'm going to sleep a little bit better at night because I just had,
Exactly.
the Happy Toque's salted duck egg. Like
Exactly. Exactly. And Doc,
Totally.
what they do, and that's what keeps customers returning. You got another question for us, Doc?
Totally agree. Let's talk about your business name, Happy Toque, right?
mhm.
How did you come up with that name?
So the toque is the tall chef hat
Yeah.
that
Yep.
chefs wear, right? Yeah,
Mm.
it's 100 pleats for a
Yeah.
Yeah.
hundred. Back in the day, it was
Mm-hmm.
100 pleats for 100 ways to cook an egg. Like once you mastered the 100 ways to cook an egg, that was, then you got,
You
then
get
you're
that.
you're a master chef
The
basically.
master chef. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're the guy in the kitchen who everybody has to look to. And in a kitchen, the chefs used to wear that hat. So wherever you were in the kitchen, because these before kitchens were these giant, giant buildings
Mm-hmm.
or like layouts. Uh, you could tell where your chef was.
That's why.
Mm.
Ah, so that's the reason.
And,
Okay.
but I think most people uh, assume like the Gordon Ramsay type chef is the general chef,
Mm.
and
The
so
stereotype. Yeah.
I wanted it to be a better version of that. I
Very
wanted it.
version.
I can
Mhm.
I can be grumpy and I can be a little frustrated at times, and I'm just trying to change my outlook and
That's
be a
why it's
happy
a
a happy
happy.
chef. Like
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Because in the end, we're all human. You cannot be happy all the time. You can't be frustrated all the time. Yeah, it gets tiring. Yeah. Okay, that's
I
cool.
have a question. Like, this is out of curiosity for a chef like you. Do you cook based on what people wanted to eat, or do you cook because this is what I want you guys to eat?
I'd have to say it's definitely what I want you to eat. I mean,
Mhm.
within reason, I would say definitely if you're getting like a prime cut of beef, let's say ribeye,
Mhm.
right? And somebody orders it and they're just they want, or let's maybe not ribeye because that tastes good pretty much if you burn it
Mhm.
regardless. But let's say tenderloin, like prime tenderloin, that needs to be a mid rare for you to really enjoy the flavor,
Mhm.
the work that went into raising the heifer, and then the work that went into the slaughter of that heifer. And people are so removed from the
The process.
experience and the process of where our food comes from, probably less so in the Philippines, but
Mm-hmm.
in America, that's how it is. Most people have never seen an animal butchered. Most people don't know, the work that goes into it, how much
Mm-hmm.
work it actually is, and the respect that comes from that knowledge. And sorry, I lost track.
Your
No,
the
no, it's
question
okay.
like why what
Oh,
kind of
the
food
and
you want the
so
food that you want them to eat.
there's a little bit of there's a lot of respect that needs to be
Mhm.
shown to the food. And when someone comes in and orders like a tenderloin that's mid rare, or sorry, that's
Mhm.
well done, they're doing that usually based on cultural
Yeah.
experience, right? People who are have less money usually would get meat that's not as good, and they're worried about the age of it, they're worried about where it was
Mhm.
raised, diseases. This is back, 100 years ago,
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah.
even 50 years ago. And so they're going, we need to cook it all the way through.
That's why you
Yeah.
burn it. Yeah.
That's why you burn it. You cook it so that you're like, you're cooking it to jerky so that you're not going to get sick.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
Right.
you go into a restaurant or you have a chef cook for you, and especially in a really good restaurant, I'm not saying go find oysters in the middle of the desert, but like,
Mhm.
if you're going to a good restaurant and and you want a good piece of meat, it's going to be okay for you to get mid rare. And I'm going to go out. If somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I want it well done," I'm probably going to go out there and say, "Are you sure?" Because I'd really like you to be able to taste the flavor of this meat. But if they're adamant, I'm not gonna force them or kick them out. But you know,
And I think that's where we usually like have a discussion because I think of our audience or our clientele, and I would think like, okay, is this the type of food that's gonna sell? Because
Yeah.
I'm doing most of the marketing and the sales, so I think about what can sell. Because right
Mm-hmm.
now, what we're trying to achieve is like fancy, fine dining in the comforts of your home or your office, but sometimes it's not as marketable when like maybe because it's the pandemic and people are
Right.
just not trying to spend that much money. So we're kind of trying to balance what could be a fine dining experience, but at the same time something that we can market and sell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mhm.
it's it's where we usually like have a big discussion, like and I also think about what's trendy, but he doesn't want what's trendy because everybody is already doing that, which is true.
yeah,
I
if you're
Yeah.
doing what's trendy, you're already behind.
Yeah.
And the chance that somebody's going to come up and say, "Oh, you're just trying to
Copy.
catch on to
All
this
right. Yeah.
wave of
Yeah.
popularity," that's gonna, and that's definitely something that I feel, going back to your question, it's if I cook the way that I want to cook and people like it,
Mhm.
those people are going to like that style of cooking regardless of whether it's popular or not. If I only go based on the cultural popularity of a dish,
Yep.
and I'm trying to keep up with that fad, people are gonna, it's not my own, style of cooking, and
Mhm.
people are gonna know that, and they're gonna know that there's not sincerity behind that, there's not the sense of ownership that I have for the dishes that I create, or the love that I have for these dishes. If I'm just copying somebody's dish or somebody's recipe,
Yeah.
love isn't there. If I'm creating my own dish and really perfecting it and coming up, spending the time to find the right ingredient to put in it. For example, the adobo. I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing it the way your dad does it, which is amazing. But the other day I heard somebody tell me that there's a style of adobo with coconut cream, coconut
Hmm.
milk.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started thinking. I said, how would condensed milk or cream go in that? And it was really really good. It's
Yeah,
almost
it's
like a
really good.
gravy as opposed to a soy sauce.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience just to and the level of excitement that I had. I'm sure somebody's done it somewhere. I doubt I'm the
Yeah.
first person to say, oh,
That you
let's
put.
put cream in this adobo.
Hmm.
But I didn't know that, and I was able to experience that momentary feeling of joy through
Yeah.
through finding that out for myself, and I know that the people that I cook for are going to feel that, they're going to taste that, they're going to experience that, and that's, I think, more important than following a fad.
Yeah, I asked that because I knew some people here in Manila where they were thinking of doing a food business. So the first thing that they asked to themselves is, what should I cook? I know how to cook basic food, but what should I sell? Food that would sell. So it's really important for that guy, for that person who's thinking about venturing to business, food business, to know if he's gonna cook what is out in the market already, compete or release something unique, something new to the people, to taste. So as a as a chef who's been preparing fine dining food,
For a
um,
decade.
yeah, and you've been I think we can safely say that you are an experienced chef. Can you, for those who are watching this video right now, especially most of them are interested in cooking, what can you tell, like an advice, if someone like me knows how to cook and I'm afraid to do business for my recipe, for my food, because I'm afraid that maybe people won't like the taste of it. I'm
Or it's
very
gonna bomb.
scared. Yeah. So what can you advise to kick it off? Get
I
them
mean,
started. Yeah.
practice, practice, practice. Just continue, just find what you
Hmm.
like to do and practice, and I think that goes across all different types of careers, right? Like
Yep.
you have to learn by doing. You can read all the books in the world, culinary books or books on computers, books on music, whatever it is, and have all this knowledge, but until you actually put it into practice, you're not going to know what it actually feels like. Until you rack up a lot of burns and scars, and you have to pay your dues.
Hmm.
Definitely everybody has to pay their dues. There's people who come
Right.
into the market and just take off, and there's those 21-year-old savants that are just killing it. I'm not one of them. I'm going on 34, and it's taken me a while, but and in no way is this like blowing up, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm not trending number one on Instagram, but I'm doing something that I love, and I have somebody that is supporting me and pushing me to follow my dream. Surround yourself with people who are going to help that dream come true. And if they're people who are just hanging on because they're trying to get a little piece of the action, or
Hmm.
they're people who are getting satisfaction out of seeing you fail or being negative, just cut them loose, and just keep going until you attain whatever dream that is. I mean,
Yeah.
and and I don't think it's possible for us to really attain all of our dreams in our life, right? Because it changes, and it constantly evolves.
Yep.
And if you're really hungry, you're not going to be satisfied. You're just going to constantly want to help this world evolve through whatever actions you decide, whether it's cooking or you know whatever it is.
Exactly. Hey,
Totally agree. Yeah.
Chef Steph, I'll we really appreciate you for taking the time. I know it's already late where you at, and this is only the first, and we will definitely continue supporting your ventures in the future. If you got
I don't know how to
something,
deliver to the Philippines, bro.
oh, yeah. If you deliver to the Philippines, it would be walking when it arrives here. So the dish will be walking by then. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of our firsts. We're going international right now. Like I said, like Doc said, we will be stepping our game. Please support all of our Filipino friends in the California area. If you live near Pomona, by all means, contact the Happy Toque. We will be flashing their website, their link, their Facebook page here, and drop by, ask Iel to for the menu and whatnot, and we will be always be supporting their page. Doc, anything to add before we say goodbye to our guests?
Yeah,
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, yeah,
thank you so
likewise,
much. Yeah,
likewise.
it's been a pleasure. Yeah, we learned a lot. So hopefully we'll continue supporting you guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
cheers!
Ang hirap mag-Ingles. Pwede na ako mag-Tagalog. Pwede na ako mag-Tagalog.
You did a good job, pal.
Yeah. Magandang gabi, Chef. Magandang gabi, Iel. See you next time, Mother Effers. Goodbye, bitches. Take care.
Thank you.